Welcome everybody to the regular meeting of the Jamaica Selectboard on Monday, January 22nd. It is 7:01 p.m. First item on the agenda, I will call for any late additions. Not seeing any late additions, I'll move to the second, which is to approve the minutes from our most recent special and regular meetings. I will start by proposing a resolution to approve the minutes from the December 18th special meeting.
Should be the 16th.
Oh, thank you. First of all, I will.
18,000.
Special meeting.
Okay.
That was our budget agreement, yep, for anyone curious.
Sorry. Yeah, thank you.
I'll second.
So, right, well, first I propose a resolution to approve the minutes from the December 16th special meeting.
Second.
Thank you. Is there any discussion of those minutes? Seeing no discussion, I'll call the vote. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. That's unanimous, thank you. Next, I will propose a resolution to approve the minutes for the January 8th regular meeting of the Select Board, 2024. Second, thank you, Kate. Any discussion of those meetings? 1 point, yes, please.
I have a couple of things, just more to add some detail. On item number 7 for our IT support, where it says Sam Wood, I think it, for the record, should also include, say, Green Mountain Smart Tech, the name of his company.
Yeah.
Similarly, yeah. On the number 11, the village center designation is to reapply. Or should it say reapply? Just apply.
Or apply renewal?
Renew our village center
Because
designation.
it's not a reapplication, it's its own application, yeah. Okay.
And then thirdly, the municipal planning grant, item number 12, just for more detail, again, to state that it's to revise our town plan. It doesn't say what the grant is for.
Oh.
It just says a municipal.
I think it's actually an update.
To update or revise?
Not to change it, it's just to keep it going, like.
Yeah, update our town.
The grant is to update the town plan.
Right,
Yeah.
yeah.
And now, as part of the updating, there will be revisions, but there may be other things.
Right,
So, yeah.
so just to state that it's for
Yeah.
updating the town.
Okay.
That's it, sorry.
Thank you.
Nitpicky.
So I propose to approve the minutes of the January 8th regular meeting as amended by Greg Melvin.
Second that.
Okay, any further discussion?
Yes.
Oh,
When I ask things like, who's Sam? That's why I asked. So people in the audience will know. And I did ask about, are we on the hook for any of the grant? And then it was explained, as Greg pointed out, that it was to help with the town plan. So I think that those revisions are
helpful.
accurate.
Okay.
And I don't ask things like that to be crass or anything. It's just, I knew who Sam was, but I don't think anyone else did.
Fine, absolutely. Great. Any further discussion? With no further discussion, I'll call the vote. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
That's unanimous, thank you. The next is our standing FEMA and Storm Preparedness General Update, which I think it was after the last regular meeting that we actually completed our application for funding from the Vermont Bond Bank, but the board meeting at Vermont Bond Bank is not until February 1, so I won't have an update until early February or mid-February. And Mike has been moving into the next phase of our FEMA, at least our winter phase. If you wanted to give an update at all on the work with our FEMA representative to complete our damage inventory.
Sure.
Yeah, or anything else that you think that's relevant.
Sure does.
Or Greg too.
Yeah, related to the damage inventory effort, we've got 77 damages. Our program manager, Angela Noel, is traveling. She's actually came into Vermont, I think, over the weekend.
Really?
Yeah, she's working with another town. She's going to be working with Jamaica Monday and Tuesday.
In person?
Yes, yes.
Oh,
She's
okay.
staying in Manchester. What I'd like to do is maybe meet with her Monday, go over the files, and then convene with maybe Greg and Keith on Tuesday of next week to kind of go over all these damage inventory projects, so we can maybe streamline some of the documentation with her efforts.
That's great news.
Yeah, I think she's going to be up for a week or two after that. So we should be able to get a lot of the work done with her help up here.
Is Mike now no longer
He's been assigned to other
reassigned?
towns.
All right, okay.
Oh.
I know. She's great. I like her very much,
Yeah.
but you know, we definitely did. I don't know. He was particularly knowledgeable. All right.
Also, I'm finalizing a list of properties to USDA and NRCS. There's a property on West Jamaica Road, Ken Molly's property, that probably will be doing some rehabilitation of the stream bank. There's another property, Chris Colks, on West Jamaica Road, on Pikes Falls Road, close to the Stratton area, that also is pursuing the embankment restoration effort. We are now trying to find an engineer to help these two properties out. So I do have an in with an engineer out of Springfield who's been helping Londonderry, and I guess he's pretty fair on what he charges. Because there is a
To private
10% fee
individuals.
for stamping these plans.
Just stamping.
Yeah, so there's an added cost for this. So we're trying to figure out the best way to handle it.
But these are for private. These are private.
Right, these
Right,
are
when you say
embankments
you're
where the
saying,
individuals want to protect their house.
Right,
And
right.
these are really just shoring up the stabilization of the bank
Right.
to help hopefully protect our home.
Are there any buyouts? Did it end up that any of the folks that really suffered were just,
Only one that I'm aware of so far, and that's 30 Water Street.
and thinking of it or not?
He's going to pursue it.
He is going to pursue it. Okay.
It'd be a challenge to do something in that, right next to the bridge.
Right. Of
The
course.
house by the
And
road?
they're gonna tear it down then after?
Well, in a buyout, it would be an acquisition by the town and a removal of the structures and maybe even underground.
Interesting, okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
We did get a call from Wyndham Regional Commission. There's an advanced assistance program that is earmarking funds for flood-prone communities. Weston, Londonderry, and Jamaica were given this funding. There's an effort to look at flooding in that area. I did ask the question whether Jamaica could maybe partner with our towns upstream. Those are not deemed as eligible under the advanced assistance program, but I did kind of pose the question, well, we'd like to kind of look at that area as well. So we'll see what happens, but I don't think, right now the funding goes to the Wyndham Regional Commission, and they're grappling with what they can do to maybe help us.
So what's the scope of use of these funds? Like what is it? What's eligible?
It's talking about flood mitigation. You know, really, I think the initiative with Weston, Londonderry, and Jamaica is looking at, containing the water in Weston as it goes into Londonderry, and of course, all of that comes down to us.
So it's a study? Is it for a study?
I don't really
Right,
know the
it's really-
specifics
okay, it's
of the
loose.
program, but my concern is it's going to be maybe a protracted process.
You think?
And I don't know what will come of it, but at least the conversations are starting.
Okay.
Does Wyndham Regional disperse? Do they decide, do they have control of the monies for that, or how's that work?
They are state appropriations, and the state kind of assigns where those monies can be spent. But it sounds like we would have to partner with Londonderry and Weston right now on their flooding issues and ours. But the other ones, maybe upstream of us, would have to be handled in another category or even another study. Or maybe it's something the town would need to fund.
But only through Wyndham Regional.
That's part of messing
Right. It's not like we can ask for money. We have to work with Wyndham
We have to
Regional
work with them.
to design a project or what have you. Okay.
Well, we kind of hire them to help us, don't we?
We do from time to time. In fact, they're,
I mean,
they're,
don't we every year pay them something?
oh,
Isn't there some kind of
It's our, I think we have to, like, that's
Yeah.
appropriated from the town.
Yeah, every town has to leave.
Yes, I was just thinking of the budget
Yeah, we
line
do.
item for that, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, the short answer to that is yes, but I think that just covers
Just-
operations,
yes, I
day-to-day
know, I agree.
operations, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think special projects. Anything else on that?
Let's
You don't
see.
have to come up with it, yes.
Let's see, I sent a debris removal plan for Ball Mountain Brook 2. Our river engineer, over a week ago, I've been pestering him. I'm hoping to get comments back shortly so we can get cost estimates,
Yeah, yeah.
okay, for that.
When would that happen in the spring then?
In the spring, a lot of it is really, as opposed to removing it, they're gonna remove the gravel, but a lot of the rock hopefully will be redistributed within the channel for embankment stabilization,
makes sense.
if it's feasible. And that's kind of the focus. Some will come out, but hopefully the lion's share will be repositioned.
And hopefully starting up high, so to speak, like more or
Yeah.
less where the town garage is, and not just on Water Street.
Yeah,
So
that
it'll
makes
come all the
sense.
way down through
Right,
four or five different sections.
right.
Yeah,
Okay,
nicely done, Mike, and that was a
Yeah.
nice proposal that you put together for that.
anything you wanted to add?
I don't have anything that
Okay.
added to that, no, that's,
Okay.
that's
Where we are,
Good.
where things stand. Thank you, Mike, very much for coming. How did everything go today? The dentist, all good?
Oh, she's fine.
I know, I was like, oh, the dentist. All right, so the next item is an update on the status and timing for the State Park Bridge, and I'm gonna, Greg, are you okay
oh,
to
for sure, yeah.
handle that? Thank you.
So more or less as you know, kind of being initiated by the budgeting process, I had looked into this a little bit further regarding the bridge going to, over the West River Bridge, the State Park Bridge number 42 it is. I think we just called it the Green Bridge or the State Park Bridge. But indeed, it is a 100% federally paid for project. It was initially going to be a small cost share between the state and the town. But with the infrastructure grants or whatever that are out there, it will be fully covered by federal money. Even though it is fully covered, there still is some fiscal constraints, which have to be kind of vetted out through this year's state budget process. Basically, the Fed obligates only a certain amount of money to the state every year, and then the state has to decide how they're gonna divvy it up, and with everything that happened last summer, all the floods and other damages, we may get pushed down the list a little bit and put off a year. I mean, it's not decided yet. They're gonna do everything they can to keep it on the list, but we won't really know that until full final transportation budget is approved this spring. Couple other things going on there too. I mean, a lot of the permitting, the A&R work with plants and other species that live in the area, and the Army Corps of Engineers still looking to have access to the base of the dam using our temporary bridge. So the bridge is currently scheduled to be put in this fall, the temporary bridge, be in place all winter, then with work on the actual existing, or the rehabilitation to the existing bridge being next summer. That's the tentative plan. Army Corps would like to keep that possibility of a permanent bridge being installed there at their discretion going into the future for, I mean, a more permanent temporary, which requires some, different nuances to the right-of-way. It goes through a wetland. Basically, working in the wetland is restricted for certain times of the year and things like that. So if this approach remained in the wetland, it's got some issues. So the state is working through all those. It's not on our plate, but just so people know, there's quite a lot of complexity to it. There's a known bat population in the area too in the summertime. So the trees, if any trees are going to be cut, they need to be cut in the winter, and any work in the stream has to be done can't be done in the spring. It's all, it's just fun.
Phasing, some serious phasing,
Yeah.
right.
But anyway, sorry, maybe that was more info, but
I had a town person's approach me who felt that we did a poor job in keeping the bridge and not replacing it. Just letting people know that.
Yeah.
So I said, well, I mean, that's a decision that we made, and obviously we weighed that out. long time ago when I was on the board before. So
Yeah.
And I said, well,
Yeah.
So their concern was
their
that.
concern was just with the weight and with the width of the bridge and the height of the bridge, the large equipment's still not gonna be able to be moved across the bridge.
Right.
I said, yeah, but the decision, I explained that if we kept the old bridge, we would have to maintain the old bridge, and if it
Right.
collapsed and paint it and all that kind of stuff,
Right.
and that's maintenance for the town.
And at that time,
Discussion, that's all.
there was a not insignificant town share,
There was.
and to create a permanent bridge, which is of the nature that we were looking at, was extremely expensive.
Right.
Would have required a bond, and a not insubstantial one. And at that point, you know, the Army Corps of Engineers was nowhere.
Right.
Even though we knew, as a general matter, it would benefit from them, despite repeated, as Greg is
Yeah.
painfully aware.
Yes.
Yeah.
They said very pointedly, they were not participating at this time. They wouldn't even discuss potentially in the future. Now, of course, years later, as this project is actually maturing, now they're suddenly, they're seeing a possibility of finding federal funds to support them in a bridge of a nature that could support the kind of equipment that will.
Yeah, and so currently, right now, they're hoping to just use the bridge like anybody else would use
Right.
the bridge when it's in
Right.
place for our,
Right.
on our timetable. But now they're starting to say, okay, we want a more permanent.
Well,
But
also,
but
our
once they get
timetable
across the river,
doesn't-
they're still
Right.
only in the parking lot of the state park.
Right,
They still
that's
got
right.
4
They still
more
gotta
miles to
get
get to
down.
the.
Right, right,
Remember
right.
The last time the guy was here from the state for talking about the bridge,
Mhm.
and I asked him what the weight load was for the temporary, and he goes, it's the heaviest we've got. And then we talked about the Army Corps would be able to use that.
They would.
And I asked who would pay for that after we were done with it, and they said they would continue, they would pay the rent on it indefinitely. But it's the heaviest temporary bridge
20
you can
ton?
put
20 ton?
Oh,
anywhere.
much more than 20 tons.
20,
It's the biggest temporary you can put.
Yeah.
So they anticipated
You know,
that might be some real heavy equipment over there.
Right.
They didn't come out and tell us that, but
the other issue is aesthetics too. I mean, you're up at the state park, people are coming to Jamaica to get away from ugly concrete bridges that they see in the city.
one of the most.
And you have
popular-
this nice iron bridge from 1924, and it's kind of cute and quaint, and then you have this big concrete bridge next to it. I think that takes away from our state park, in my opinion.
And we'll
Yeah.
have to see if the federal government
Yeah, I mean,
trumps
that's,
the,
right.
the state park.
Right, well, someone's gotta come up with the money, you know?
And the Army Corps, that they're being, their influence or whatever is also that they have received some of these other, I mean, it's federal agency, but they've received federal monies also.
Yes.
That have timelines and deadlines similar to everybody else that they're
Right.
looking to use.
Right.
And to do the maintenance they need on the dam.
And
Right,
I may have mentioned when you gave us that information that if they're driving those big Tonka trucks down to the temporary bridge, they gotta go over the bridge by my house, that's, a
yeah,
little
the
bit-
Depot Street
Yeah.
Bridge,
Maybe they could fix that.
unless they don't, unless they come around Water Street, but,
But again, they're in the parking lot then they gotta somehow get up that path.
they have to build it
Well,
We all
right,
know
so
the path is locked
obviously.
anyway at the current
Right.
time, but even when they open that back up.
And then I've already heard,
Sorry.
well, you don't want the dam to let go, do you?
Well, I think one of the backdrops is the fact that the dam
The spillway
is,
is
right,
failing.
right. And I don't think that's what happened in the summer is lost on anyone, including the Army Corps of Engineers, but the length of time that we anticipate having the temporary bridge in place is certainly not sufficient enough, it's not enough time for the Army Corps to do anything really with it, meaningful to the bridge, to the dam. So there's a little bit of drama when it comes to the bridge.
And I think, I mean, I feel good that the state and Gary LaRouche is our project manager on this. I feel that the state is listening attentively to our needs and what our desires are, but he's also, you know, listening to the Army Corps and he's trying to sort through all this, so.
Right.
I don't necessarily envy his position, but.
One of the top
Not at
10
all.
most popular parks. Jamaica was
We were number one.
number one for a number of years, not in a
We
row.
won Park of the Year this year too. There's a big sign when you walk there now.
Yeah.
Very
Park of the
popular
Year.
and a huge,
It's really great.
Yeah.
economic.
And
Oh,
the folks
absolutely.
In the state, I mean, there's V-Trans, Gary, but also Tim and a number of people in the state that are involved with the park are also realize that there's aesthetic issues and all these other things, and they have the same concerns. It's
Right,
so.
right.
More
All right.
research.
Yeah, so thank you, Greg, very much. All right, so Karen is here, so we have to go back now. The next item is approval of the fees, the contract terms and fees for 20, 21, and 22, which were not paid by the town, correct?
I think, well, 20 was, so it's 21 and 22.
Oh, it's 21 and 22?
This one here?
Sorry, I didn't come prepared.
That's all right, you don't
This
have
is my head. I
to.
just
You don't
saw
have to.
something
I mean, what we did at the last meeting is we approved this coming year,
24.
So
starting in March.
I thought we approved, and we thought that it was last year. So
It's to March of this year, but it's 2 years preceding that, so it would be April of 22 to March of 24.
Right, because
Right,
it's a
that's right.
3-year cycle.
Document A, Exhibit
we had
A.
one until 2025 also, one of them.
But that's the one we approved.
We
at the last
approved.
There's two, I have two sitting here that I got on
Right,
the
can
basket.
can I have the older one?
And then there's a
Or you
This is
can,
the
or
old
you
one.
can recite it.
Wait, go ahead, I can recite it.
Okay.
And all that stuff. So,
There's a $3,000 bill for the year that we're in now.
Right.
correct.
Ending in March and last year.
No, what I show here is March, I show April 1st, 2022 through 3/31/2024. They're through March of this year.
That's what we have to
Yeah,
approve.
that's the one.
Okay.
That's for
Do you want to make a
$3,000.
resolution?
I'll make a motion to pass the tax map maintenance proposal for the town of Jamaica from CAI Technologies for the amount of $3,000.
I second. Any discussion?
So what is that for? Just for the camera?
This is for,
Updating the tax maps.
computer map services, the name and book page area, parcel ID, multiple, M1, M2, 3 other. They shall provide computer index printouts to clients sorted as follows: numerical lot by map and lot number, alphabetical owner by name, change list by change code with secondary sorting. All other index printouts will be available on
So
the
they
website.
make
So plain
Tax
English,
maps.
right, and then plain, and
The
sort of,
process digital
Make 'em all-
file.
they're actually going, they have to reflect every change that's happened to every parcel. So they have to go through tax map, blah, 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 what Tom just recited.
Okay,
And go through the changes each year and bring it up to date.
We
And-
have to send them, the listers send them any changes that we find, and, but they had neglected to bill us. So now we're,
Now they are. They have ceased failing to
that's right.
bill us. Any further questions or conversation? No? With no further discussion, I'll call the vote. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. That's unanimous. Thank you very much, everybody. Oh, the next one is mine.
Well, there's another
Oh.
one here too.
That one we.
No, that one we did last time.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
Fine.
Thank you for your diligence.
Yes.
So I have my notes here. Oh, I don't have my notes on that. I'll have to do this from memory. Okay, so at Kate's, I think prescient urging, and also just general discussion, we do want, as a town, very much to go away from the plastic bags. But there was concern raised in several quarters about moving from a bag system to a weighing system or volume system, whichever one. So I've done some research and found a firm in the Midwest. There is not one in Vermont. Would have liked to use a local firm, but it's not made here. That makes compostable bags, so non-plastic bags. I have used them in my own, I think I mentioned that quickly at the last meeting, that I've been using compostable bags in my own kitchen to just kind of be a guinea pig. And they don't leak. They don't leak. They can have wet stuff. They work just as well as my regular plastic garbage bag that I've been using in my kitchen.
Wow.
So with that, I thought it was worthwhile to spend the time doing the research, and indeed, this company does do, they can customize, he offered to actually stamp Town of Jamaica for free on the bags. the rolls would be not in another plastic bag as they are now. They'd be in a thin cardboard box instead, obviously biodegradable. And without, kind of further negotiation, the rough cost currently to the town of the bags, is about 30 cents. And he'll give us a different price for the larger and smaller, but I've just sent him the dimensions. But a 33-gallon bag, he could get down to 84 cents a bag, which is definitely close enough for Jazz. Does not, shipping is a little bit easier for us because it's on a pallet and we can accept a pallet at the town garage. But so the full details are, he's working on a truly fulsome proposal for us. But I hope to have that certainly for the next meeting. And then before questions, can I just make one?
Of course.
Yeah. So Sarah had a great idea, which was to open up a contest, because he said, I'll stamp anything on that bag, just email it to me. Just email a logo or whatever you want to put on it. So Sarah's idea, which I think is fantastic, is to put out like what did you call it? Like kind of like a contest, and people can submit proposed
the logo,
designs.
And then we would have a new town logo, and it would be designed by somebody in our community, and I like contests, they're fun.
I thought that was a
Yeah,
great
that's
idea.
great.
So anyway, so please, Tom and then Kate.
Is the thought to get rid of the plastic bags and go all biodegradable, or would there still be an option? So if someone said, well, 84, are we going to charge the same? I mean, if it's 84 cents a bag versus 30 cents a bag, we're going to need to charge more. I'm asking.
Right. So Greg and I did do a little, was it Greg or was it Sarah? No, Sarah and I did a little back of the envelope. Sorry, I was looking at Greg.
We talked too a little bit.
And we did
about
talk a
it,
little bit
but,
about it.
Yeah, that detail.
So we have, I started with Sarah and then talked to Greg. So for at least 6 years, we've not increased the price of the bag, maybe
$3
ever.
a bag, $2 for the little.
Right, exactly. So I'm not too uncomfortable increasing the cost of the bag to cover the increased 50 cents or whatever it is. Indeed, we should probably, as a town, think about increasing it more than just
a lot of
the
other
50
fees that
cents.
are
Yeah, there's a lot, because we don't really cover the cost of the transfer station now.
Yeah.
We don't, so we could get closer to that. The idea would certainly be not to have plastic bags.
Okay.
Yes. Kate, did you have
Okay,
something?
so yeah, I did some parallel research
Okay.
on Londonderry's punch card system. And I know Esther really likes it. Esther is in one of their systems. And so I talked to the attendant at the Londonderry transfer station, and they use punch cards. He likes it. They used to use cash. Have we ever used
Yeah, I
cash?
remember
Yes.
that when they used to
Well, their problem with cash was that somebody was working there who was taking a little off the top, and not even just a little. So I always thought that maybe we didn't use cash because of the safety issue, that somebody would come, come try to steal. He said in whatever, how many years, nobody ever did that there when they used cash. But anyway, then in talking with him, I thought, well, maybe even instead of punch cards, we already have tokens. Maybe if we use tokens, then it would just be, because, he stands out there, and I watched it happen. People would dump their bags, and then he would say, how many have you got? And, check it off. Interestingly, he did raise the issue that really must come, I don't know what Ernie does, and maybe you all know what has happened in the past, but Airbnb places where somebody comes in for the weekend, they want to dump their trash, and they get to the dump and they're told, sorry, you gotta have a bag, and and they're annoyed. That he said that would happen, with tokens or cash or whatever, and as long as Fars and Tara are willing to sell whatever we have, I guess that's, that can take care of that. But anyway, then that made me think, well, we were talking about the dog rule, some people were complaining about dogs that don't reside in Jamaica. People may be staying in Airbnbs, coming and walking their dogs and not having them on leashes. And so maybe we could revisit the rules with Airbnb and maybe tell the Airbnb people, well, you gotta pay an extra $20 or whatever, and then supply this trash disposal information and, maybe even the tokens or the bags or whatever to the people who stay there, so that, that would help them as well as, anyway, it's a lot.
And explain the leash flows.
Yeah, well, that's another,
That's another issue.
I got another question, maybe Sarah knows this. Do we know, we're looking at a bag cost of 30 to 84 cents, but I don't even know, and I should know this, but in general, what does that total number look like over the course of the year? And the fact that we could, with no bags, tokens,
Yeah.
punch cards, we eliminate a fee that we're trying to cut our costs and things like that, we
Well,
eliminate.
we don't want to eliminate a fee.
No, not a fee, a
Right.
fee to the town, a cost to the town.
Right.
That price for the bags includes the shipping, the freight. So it's probably, I'm guessing, expensive to have a pallet delivered.
Yeah.
I'm not sure, I haven't seen an invoice.
But I
for
mean,
that.
it's a total invoice for what we pay for bags now.
Right.
Are we talking thousands of dollars probably?
Yeah, I think it
In
was gonna be
shipping alone?
$8,000.
No, total.
I think
Yeah, if we
it's
go
like
to a
$8,000
punch
if I was
system.
gonna order a pallet of each, last month. when the
8,000?
shipments come. I believe so,
Yeah, we
I
get
could
it.
be wrong, but I think
Ton of
that's what it was.
What have we ordered them twice since we've been doing it?
I think they've been ordered twice since I've been here in 6 years.
Since we
Maybe
started
3 times.
naming the bags.
What are the blue ones? Remember
Yeah.
the ones we couldn't get?
So I'm just
Well,
saying,
those one, we got those in between, but
Yeah.
that was an order.
Yeah, I don't count those.
if we're looking at, we have escalating costs, just by nature, at the transfer station, hauling fees and all that. And this is potentially not only a way to remove plastic bags, but also a way to remove, if we reevaluate our system, a way to remove X number thousand more dollars from our costs if we go to a punch system. I don't know,
The other
What?
thing,
Right.
the other thing is.
because we don't have bags at all. We
I've
don't have
heard
to.
that the compostable bags are not compostable when there's no air, which there isn't once they're all in the compactor and where it's all in there. I've read that and Steve said that today. Steve,
Yeah,
the
but
attendant
don't-
in London.
Steve, who?
The attendant
Twitchell.
in London.
Oh.
Twitchell, I shouldn't. Yeah, they don't really biodegrade because they need air to biodegrade. Now, I haven't done more research about that, but I have read that.
So they won't break down anaerobic. The same
Right.
But is
theory
that-
behind that is that you don't put compost in your trash because
Compostable?
it makes methane rather than
Right.
So,
CO2 and all the other stuff.
you're gonna come and dump your trash in front of Ernie into the compactor?
That can be done, he said plenty of people do that in Londonderry.
You're gonna get some pushback for that.
Say that again, what has to
But they
happen?
can use their own
Trash.
bags.
Which is what.
No bag.
Oh,
No bag at all.
No bag.
You
You
have
stuff your
your-
trash in the.
No, but any individual, who's gonna push back?
What bag, what kind of bag?
But who would push back? When you say,
just dump your garbage in.
Yeah,
who's pushing back? The
Is
Ernie
that-
or the
Some
customers?
allows
He's
it.
saying citizens.
Well, they don't have to do that.
They
They
don't
can
have
put it
to.
in their
Put
own
it
bag.
back.
Complaining that other
Put
people.
it in a
do that,
plastic
it's just-
bag?
We cut down on some bags.
Plastic
Yeah.
and-
okay, one other,
Put it in a paper bag.
I've read quite a bit about this. The first thing I did was call Casella, and they had no idea who we were. What, are we under another contract name or something? They have no
No.
recollection
There's such a
of.
big company.
They're a really big company,
Well, there
unless
was-
you're going to the.
Anyway,
Yeah.
they take everything, and it gets thrown into this. Do you ever seen how they recycle? Everything goes on the floor.
Mhm.
The plastic bags get pulled out and they get recycled. Where do they, what, plastic and plastic bags get recycled. They get shipped off and they get melted in the paint buckets
Casellas
and what.
pulls out the plastic
They
bags.
sort everything.
Compact garbage.
They say there's no need for you to recycle. We'll come pick up. They got the barrels and stuff. And then it showed the inside of the place. It's all on a big floor.
I don't know
Like-
who you
like-
talk to.
I read it on their website.
Oh, well, that's bullshit, because they don't. Sorry.
Well, okay, then I'm full of
That
bullshit.
is not
I just-
something, that
I
is
just-
not, that
I
is
just
not a
read
service
all
they have
that.
offered us.
I'm just saying that's what they do when they
But
get it.
I can assure you, that is not what they've told us, and it's not what we're paying for, and it's not anything we've been offered.
I'm suggesting that we can maybe go a step further and eliminate all the bags
Right.
that we're providing. anybody can do whatever they want in their own world, if it's
Right.
paper, plastic, cardboard, whatever.
Right. Well, that's the punch
Potentially,
card.
the punch
Right.
cards,
Right.
and
Or
I haven't I haven't heard what the concern is on that.
How are you gonna know where the garbage has come from? Just their card?
Well, the punch
what
card,
about-
the punch card will be a Jamaica punch
Yeah,
card.
but what about, caretakers?
But we don't necessarily
and all
know that now
stuff?
either, so
Yeah, we
they
do,
could go
because they
buy-
gotta use the bags.
But they could
It'll
go
say
buy.
It's the
Jamaica.
same thing with a punch card, because you can't get a punch
Right.
in a card and be allowed to dump your garbage
Right.
unless you have a town of Jamaica punch card.
And something
With
that he
spots.
was suggesting.
Okay.
Where do you get those?
Right, that I don't think is the issue.
At the
The issue.
town? How do you make sure, the same way I get the
At
card?
least you get the fee for the
Town or
bag
at the
from
market,
the
same,
caretaker.
same, that's how it's done in
But if
Montreal.
I'm a non-resident, I can do that?
But you
Yes,
can
and
go,
you
you
can
can
do
walk
that
in there and buy a
today.
bag too, no
But
matter
if you
Because you need a
don't
what.
know,
card.
you can't go to the dump.
You need a
Oh, but
card.
you need a card to get in the dump.
Oh, so you
Yeah.
still need a
Yes,
card.
You need your card.
You need the card and the punch
That's
card.
the way
Yeah,
we
okay.
can get your permit. Instead of paying $10 for the year, you pay $100 with a $90 credit of tokens, and then you wouldn't have to,
I think the detail's right. To me, it's more just, do we continue to pursue these dual options? One which is compostable bag versus no bag at all, no bag requirement, just a punch card or token.
Figure that out.
You know, I need a little bit more information, which I'm soliciting now, to give you a fulsome understanding of what it would be to go to a compostable bag. At least we would not be adding plastic to the environment. I'm not sure about this issue that, yeah, that would be great, and I could do the same. But I think we kind of just have to keep plugging on this issue, and then when we really have full information, then we have to decide how to vote on it.
I think it should be an
Since it's
article.
very intimate to
If
the
we're
town.
gonna change it that radically, it should be an article on the town meeting. Not
We have
necessarily, no, not this one. But you guys can do whatever you want. I'm really big on the marked bag because we had such trouble with garbage coming in from other towns. That
I
was a
don't
big
think-
hook.
right, but
What,
this is-
that's
Right.
changed? That doesn't happen no more?
No, it's not that. I don't think what the issue we're addressing now is impacted by either solution. Neither one makes it easier or harder to dump your garbage as a non-Jamaica resident. I think I would suggest you put that issue aside. The issue is, for the townsfolk, is whether people are comfortable going to a bagless mechanism instead to just dump and a punch card or token versus being able to buy a bag and put it in your own, like that's what I, do. I put it in my own garbage pail in the kitchen, and then I know everything is in the garbage. So to me, having the option to just dump my garbage, it doesn't work because I don't go to the transfer station every time I need to empty my garbage pail in the kitchen. But other people, that probably is fine. I'm gonna be going to the dump, and so I'm gonna be using a bag, but I'll use a compostable bag no matter what.
What if they have different amounts though? What if it's
Well, we'd have to, I think it's a punch per thing. I mean, when I
like
used
a
to.
sandbox bucket or something? What do you charge for
I-
that?
Technically by
It
weight.
sounds,
Is it by weight?
Yeah, he was
Yeah.
saying, for instance, you should, this one side barrel, that if people use that barrel, that's worth $2 or whatever, and the other one's worth $3. But if he'll eyeball it, and if somebody has 3 pillows in one of those, he won't charge the same as if it was all cat litter, because
does not have
it
it.
is by weight. And so, I mean, he's,
That sounds pretty intense, actually.
well, that's,
Yeah.
I think he's very conscientious, and I think
Right.
it's great. And I think
I've
our
heard it
opinion is
doesn't happen.
conscientious.
Well, right.
People don't like it.
That is the concern I've heard the most, is the fairness of it.
Right.
How is it gonna work?
Right.
How is it fair? No, I buy a bag and I stuff in as much stuff as
I
I
know.
can. And for
I
dinner,
put
someone else
rocks
puts
in
a
my
couple
bag.
pillows in. I mean, you're still paying $3 for your bag, so.
All right,
there's
so
no fairness
Paul
there.
has a point, yes?
Have you factored in the manpower issue with this? Right now, I can go up to the dump, throw the bag in the thing, and I'm out of there in like 3 minutes.
I
If you're
agree,
gonna- If
yeah.
you're gonna take it out and somebody's gotta weigh it, and somebody else is
No,
gonna.
they don't weigh
How do you?
He
weigh it?
eyeballs
it. They
it.
don't weigh it, he eyeballs
Okay,
it.
so the eyeball this is, I think this is, and then you got a subjective issue going on.
Right.
You're gonna get people having lots of interesting things to think about some guy subjectively telling me my garbage
Right.
weighs more than his.
Right.
Somebody else is punching the card, somebody else is waiting for the next guy to get through, so this seems to be like a manpower nightmare.
He has worked there for years and he really likes the system. I did see a number of people throw plastic bags in of their own. I mean, that's gonna happen, you know, but at least we had compostable bags available that they were allowed to use. Either whether we use the punch system or the token system or just the bags. At least if we had it as an option so we could cut down on some of those plastic bags.
What about contractors and contractor bags? No more of that? $5 a bag for miscellaneous stuff off the job, now I gotta throw it in the back of my truck?
He mentioned that to me.
And what? Paint cans, plastic? Instead of
But
$5
that's
a
different.
bag?
That doesn't go into the trash compactor.
It goes into the.
But that, we're not
demo.
talking about that. We're not
It's still
talking about
plastic bags we're talking about.
No, the bags are just for the compactor. We're
I know,
just-
But if we're trying to
but it's
reduce,
still,
eliminate,
we're on
we're
this
not gonna
crusade.
solve the world.
Yeah.
We're not saving the world.
Okay,
We can try, every little bit helps.
I agree with what Paul says, though. I think we
And
all
Ernie
need to
should be
consider
here.
the logistics of it and say, is it gonna just back the dump up on a Saturday at 10 o'clock? in the
They
morning?
have a lot more volume than we have.
They do? Okay.
And it's not a problem.
Okay.
he says,
Okay, well,
That-
it's working.
the citizens don't agree with Mr. Twitcher.
There's a point there, because how it works for him, if he's standing in place and the guy comes up, I'm thinking about people in line who are waiting. I'm thinking about me, as an example, come up, dump it, and leave, get out of the way. It seems to me like you're going to have a manpower issue. You're also going to have the subjectivity factor. Here, it's a bag. It comes from Jamaica. It goes in there. If it doesn't come from Jamaica, it doesn't go in there. There's no subjectivity involved. It's objective.
It's
Oh,
The dollars.
binary.
You know, Paul, I'd like to respond to that in that I think back to the 80s before when recycling started and everybody thought, oh no, I'm gonna have to rinse out this and we have to separate it. Now we don't even think about it. It will become second nature. People will say, okay, this is the new system, I don't like it, I'm not used to it, blah, blah, blah. And then after a while they get used to it and they don't even think about it. That's what I think. And I hope, I mean, we have to make little changes. We have to do what's right.
So getting the compostable bags, though, eliminates that issue, because it's the same system we have now, it's just with a compostable bag.
Right.
No punch
That's
cards, no
why I wanted to
no
do the
nothing, that
research,
eliminates the
right.
problem that he's
How much
talking
for a
about.
roll of
And we're still
10?
making a change to a better world. So it's a
Well,
wish
repeat what I said earlier.
Except for
No, what I
unless
said
the-
earlier.
Our cost.
is-
Our cost. go up.
Right now,
Except for
what
that.
I'm doing is, it's only 50 cents more to the town. So, that's all I know at this point. You know, this is clearly an issue. It's an issue of great concern to a lot of people. It's very personal. And, I mean, I'm glad we're doing the research and we're having the vigorous debate. I think that that's really important. I think we're gonna have a few more of these as we learn more. So I'm gonna actually have it as a regular item on the agenda as we, you know, hash through it.
We've got some timeline deadlines. but-
Yeah, well, right, in terms of whether this is raised for the town meeting.
No, I meant some town meeting, not this one, this is too
I
much.
think that's what we get paid for, so to speak. That, I would
Right.
say that's
I
what,
think
that's
we
a
need-
board decision.
I think we
Right,
need to
I-
hear from more than
We need
3 or
more.
4 citizens who wanted this done, who
Right.
refused to use bags. And then us 5 make a decision for 1,100.
So why don't
To get rid of the
we
bags.
put it on the agenda at the town meeting as not as something to vote on?
No, we can do
It's a
that.
discussion to say, we're thinking about doing this, what does everybody think? Then we get that input from
No,
the
we
town.
definitely can do that.
And then we all as a board, or you all as a board, can make that decision.
We all, you just said that, suggest.
You all. I did correct myself there.
You can hear from more
You
than
all
us
can make
on
that
this.
decision come April.
Okay, I think
I think it's a good idea. I think that's the way to do it. I agree with you
Okay.
though, because we do need to hear from a lot of different people. I mean, we have time to put that on without
At
a.
least there's 100 people there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
At least, that's
And
better.
if 25 of them say okay, then
All right.
that's more than 3.
If you have friends who are against it, tell them to come to town meeting.
Yeah.
Everybody should go.
Maybe it'll bring some more people out.
Set up there one last time.
All right.
All right.
So thank you, everyone. That was really
Lively.
lively and important and,
And if you don't have anything to do, look and see where your recycling
I'd like to
goes.
look at that. I'm going.
no,
No,
God.
not just them, I mean in general.
Yeah.
The
Oh, it's
not
markets
great.
that buy them.
It's not great. It's not great.
Well, I'm not saying that it's bad,
Right.
but they do use them. And we sort of train people, or ask them, to put cardboard, Paul was there, to put cardboard in one bin and bottles in the other. They get it down, or does it go down to Brattleboro still, or I don't know about that either. They
Yeah, it
don't-
goes to
they-
Brattleboro.
It can all
It all
be in the
goes to
same
Brattleboro.
bin, but we don't dare to say, oh, guess what, everybody, you can put the cardboard and the bottles in the same thing. Because that's how it ends up down there.
Zero sorts.
They all go together.
Oh, it is.
But we
zero
told,
sort. Right.
like Kate said, we got people to do that, and it took a long time.
There's one step closer to having only cardboard, and then we can maybe make some money.
Well,
Yeah,
and we
yeah.
still get an assessment from Wyndham Regional, I don't know what it is, but it's nothing like we used to get because of all the recycling.
Okay, all right.
But
Thank-
Paul was in on all of that, trying to, anyway.
Yeah,
Maybe I've been on the select board too long, but there was so much trash coming in from where it shouldn't have. It was unbelievable what people were getting away with unmarked bags.
The system we have now solves a lot of it.
Yes, maybe, and things have
It
always
may not
changed.
be perfect, but
No.
it does solve a lot of it.
I don't want to beat a dead horse.
Plastic.
all right, thank you,
In
everyone.
trouble for that.
So, who can oh, you have the overweight permits,
Right
thank you.
here. Yeah.
Item number
Moving right along.
7, Tom, thank you.
All right, I have overweight permit number 1 from Carroll Concrete, Newport Sand and Gravel Company. It shows a $10 payment for 4 trucks, various different axles and weights. So I make a motion to accept the overweight permit for Carroll Concrete, Newport Sand and Gravel Company.
I second that.
You can.
Any discussion of the Newport, et cetera, No discussion, I'll call the vote. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Thank you, it's unanimous.
The second overweight permit I have is for Barrett Trucking Company Incorporated. Again, multiple trucks, multiple number of axles and weights, and have a receipt for a $10 payment. So it's for the fleet. So I'll make a motion to accept the overweight permit for Barrett Trucking Company Incorporated.
I'll second that. Any discussion? Not seeing any discussion. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Unanimous, thank you. All right, hopefully everyone had an opportunity to review and approve the pay order, the timesheets for the town office, listers, highway, and transfer station. So all those in favor of approving the timesheets for the town office, listers, highway, and transfer station?
Aye. Do we need to make?
Oh, no, I'm sorry. I make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Second, any discussion? No discussion, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
That's unanimous.
Oh, sorry, discussion, just
Oh.
thank you, Mary, for doing that.
Yes, thank you, Mary. Thank you, Mary.
What do you want to do?
She got them up on the website, yeah. I mean, into the drive, right?
Yes.
Oh,
Sarah did that?
I remember.
Oh, Sarah did it. Sarah
That's
did
what I was
it.
gonna say, Sarah did.
Yeah.
Sarah, that's both of you.
Sarah.
Sarah.
I'm so sorry, Sarah.
Sarah, Mary, Sarah. I like that, Sarah.
We're definitely a couple now, I'm gonna have to
They are, they're wife and wife. They're work wife and wife. Next, I'll make a motion to approve the pay orders.
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion? Not seeing any discussion. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
That is unanimous. Okay, open for public concerns.
I have a quickie.
Please.
I just wanted to say that Patty Dixon was on the select board for probably 10 years, something like that.
School board.
Yeah, school board, yeah.
And we're sorry for what happened.
Thank you
Yes.
for mentioning that. Yeah, I
Yeah.
had family in this weekend. Were you able to go to, how was that?
It was a party. I mean,
Oh,
Jeff-
which is great.
Yeah.
Jeff isn't in good shape, so.
Okay, he's not well, right? Yeah, yeah. All right, well, thank you for mentioning her.
She was really big on encouraging this select board to pay attention or get involved in the school board stuff that she really, just watching it on TV, I can't imagine the hours she had in there.
Really.
And trying to straighten that out.
Over
Or
many
under-
years.
Or understand it.
Well, I served with her when we were talking about the red on the WCSU years ago, but you know,
Right.
she worked really hard.
Right.
Again,
Smart as a whip,
Yeah,
clearly.
yeah,
Yeah.
Come here and ask us,
Yes,
to,
yep.
you know, encourage us to get involved.
Yeah, thank you for mentioning that, Kate. Any other, okay.
I'll make a motion to
Please.
adjourn.
Second that motion. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, thank you, everyone.